I'd like to call to order the Development Review Commission meeting for December 1st, 2025. There were some changes to the agenda. I don't know if anybody else received that copy. I've got it in hand. There's also a reminder to turn on your microphones and pull them closer to you while speaking so we can pick up the audio on the recordings. Ms. Hasty will be on Zoom, and she will be the only one remote in this meeting. A roll call, please call the staff, or on to roll call here. Will staff please call the roll? Excuse me.
Got it. Chair Lindstrom.
Present.
Vice Chair Leake.
Present.
Commissioner Dews.
Here.
Commissioner Bates.
Present.
Commissioner Sangre.
Present.
Commissioner Salunke.
Present.
Councilor Wendland.
Thank you very much. Now we're on to item number 3, the report on council activities. I'd like to turn it over to Councilor Wendland.
We need new mics. There we go. Okay. Couple highlights. It's December already. If you don't know that we've had a busy year, and I want to thank you for all your efforts. I know you have a busy meeting tonight, so I'll be brief. But a couple things that you might have some interest in from the city council part. We've had a couple meetings on housing production since I've been here last, mainly dealing with some housekeeping type things. One on a Fair Housing Act, which was an easy lob to get done and check off. It didn't really get us too far into the housing production nitty gritty, but it was something that the city council looked at from a perspective of which I, as a city councilor, thought we had the Fair Housing Act all taken care of, but we wanted to, as part of Salem's direction to us, to highlight it and to make sure that all of our code reflected fair housing within Lake Oswego. And one of the interesting parts of going through this housing production strategy from Salem is to try to meet the desirability to have more housing with a lot of different, long planned out local control. And we have a lot of different things on the horizon that we'll be looking at, and I'm sure that you'll be interested in as we continue down this path. But we are looking at trying to take the code and simplify it to a certain extent so that we can make it easier for people to get permits and to have a clear direction on development. But it is also a change, and I mentioned before, where we've added multi-unit duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, as well as cluster housing and so on. And it's at the tip. I mean, this is just the beginning, and we'll see more and more instructions from Salem that they've given us to implement within our code system. One of the things that we're working on, and I mentioned it before at the last meeting, is the tree code. And we've had a tree code committee that's been put together that Mattel is on from representing the design, the DRC, and various different people are on that committee. And the objective is really to take our tree code and try to make it clear and objective so that people are not always going through the appeal process with ambiguity. And I know that we've gotten great feedback from the DRC that we know that is probably the least favorite part that you guys get to deal with is the tree code. And it tends to be the most, I guess, the highest number of things that get before the DRC. And a few of the ideas that we're looking at is to try to simplify it and also maybe to have it so that it would go before a hearings officer and rather than going through the appeal process. We'll see how far that gets with some on City Council want to have the appeal process still in the same way. I think the majority of council at this point gave direction to say we want to have a hearings officer hear the tree issues. So we'll keep you posted. I know where you guys stand on that issue, and I think it's my opinion as well. I think oftentimes, I think we had 16 or something, 15 or 16 appeals to council of the last 4 or 5 years, and only one was slightly overturned. And I know that you have had pretty much no overturn. So I think the tree code in its present form is working pretty well. And we hope to just streamline it so that maybe we can allow people to go through the process and have a clear direction. And that is a mandate from good common sense from Salem. I will say that they want clear and objective standards for our tree code. So how that ends up, we'll see. A couple other things that we have done in City Council. We looked at the fees and charges and looked at from the budgets and so on that we're looking at. And every December, we approve the fees and charges that are given to all the city services. And for the most part, they'll be going up at a very slight cost of living type increase. Some stay the same. But what's super interesting, I know you've just been dying to hear, is that we had a great meeting with Republic Services, which is our garbage and recycling group, and there will be no rate increase for 2026, which I think is the first time we've had that in a long, long time. So I know that you were holding out with bated breath to hear that part. And then the last part, I just want to tell you that while this didn't go before this committee, I just wanted to say in Lake Oswego, we have a very cooperative, team-oriented approach to getting things done around here. And one of the primary goals in our in the city is to try to make it more walkable in Lake Oswego. And we've the last 4 or 5 years, we've been spending money on pathways for people to walk on, and we've had great success with installing, let's see, probably 6 projects, I think, at this point, new pathways in and around Lake Oswego. A lot of them are safe routes to school. A lot of them are where there was real high traffic area and where people had issues with getting sort of the safety issues of walking. And one of the partnerships that we have is with the school district, which is very strong. And we ended up putting we found the money to assist them to figure out. River Grove Elementary was completed last year, and there was a pathway that was in the plans, but nobody could afford it. And we ended up cooperating with them and joining money and figuring out ways to do it. So the kids at River Grove with the brand new school now have will have a safe pathway when it's built. And it's, I guess it's just one example of where working together to solve problems and watching out for our kids and for our citizens is a high priority. Other than that, I won't bore you with a lot of other city council business that's a little more dry than what I talked about. So thanks. Any other questions or any questions? Yeah.
All right. Councilor Wendland, you spoke about the issue of policy on housing being set in large part in Salem. We feel that we're doing a very good job in Lake Oswego. and that we also have strong opinions about what would be appropriate policy at the state level. Question: what kind of formal and informal communication allows the Lake Oswego experience and perspective to be heard in Salem? How do you get that message down to Salem?
Great question. Several ways. One is through citizens, especially citizens like you that serve on a committee that has a good perspective of what's going on in Lake Oswego. Write both the senator and Representative Wagner and Wen to just tell them work on Lake Oswego's behalf. They do represent us. Secondly, we do a lot of communication between City Council and Salem in the sense that we write letters oftentimes saying, hey, slow down. In fact, we were very supportive of pausing any new addition to any housing in this last legislative session. They didn't listen to us, but it's important for us to have a voice. And then the other one is our fabulous staff that works with all of this. They are great at helping to channel some of the fine-tuning of policy when it's talking professional staff at Lake Oswego to professional staff at Salem to say, hey, I know what the legislator was saying, but this is the reality, and maybe you could look at things maybe a little bit differently. And that's from like the League of Oregon Cities and some organizations within the planning departments, which are very helpful in implementing the final rules from the legislation. But as I've said, a lot of the housing production strategies are really in the beginning phases. And I've always said, and I've been around Lake Oswego a long time, and until it affects you personally, most people aren't interested. And then when you all of a sudden have a project that's next to you or across the street that doesn't really think that it fits into Lake Oswego character, that's when people kind of get riled up and activated. So I suggest always to continue to have the dialogue with your representatives and say, hey, you know what, we've got a good thing going. We understand what you want. Just give us the goal and we'll try to achieve it in our way. But we're just Lake Oswego. We don't run the state. So unfortunately.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
That might be an appropriate topic to communicate, maybe through the mayor's letter or something too. I get this question from people that I interact with who ask, you know, does Lake Oswego have any influence in Salem? And I know we do, and it's good to hear.
Any more questions? Commissioner Lee? All right, well, thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And have a fun evening. Thank
Yeah.
you for all your service, you guys. I have to leave because come before us, so off I go. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we are on to item number 4. This will be for the findings for LU 25-008. This was a request for approval of a development review permit to construct an addition to Our Lady of the Lake Catholic Church for internal circulation and a major variance to project further into the street front setback plane on A Avenue. This request included the removal of 9 trees. The site is located at 790 and 650 A Avenue. Staff coordinator was Courtney Simms, associate planner. Do any commissioners have any comments on the findings? Will someone motion to approve the findings for LU 25-0018?
I'll move that our draft findings become formally accepted and passed into council for LU 25-0018.
I hear a second.
Second that motion?
I will second that.
Okay, thank you. Staff, please call the roll.
Chair Lindstrom,
Aye.
Vice Chair Leek,
Aye.
Commissioner Dews,
Aye.
Commissioner Bates,
Aye.
Commissioner Salunke,
Aye.
Commissioner Sangri.
Aye.
6-0.
Thank you. All right, on to item number 5. This will be opening the public hearing for LU 25-0025, a request for approval of the development review permit to construct an additional 8-unit multifamily building on an existing site and removal of 5 trees for public improvements. The site is located at 4501, excuse me, and 4519 Lakeview Boulevard. 4600-4602 and 4614 Lower Drive. Staff coordinator is Evan Franstead, senior planner. I'll now turn direction to Attorney Crane to state the meeting procedures to the public.
Thank you, Chair Lindstrom. Thank you, everyone, for attending tonight. Following procedures for this public hearing have been adopted by the City of Lake Oswego under Lake Oswego Code Article 50.83, which implements ORS 197.797. This is a quasi-judicial land use application, which means it involves the application of the criteria and standards that are listed in the staff report, and only those criteria and standards. So if you testify tonight or put evidence into the record, encourage you to make sure that your testimony or evidence is focused on those criteria, because again, those are the standards on which the city's decision must be based, notwithstanding the presence of other important issues. The city's decision has to be based on the criteria and standards in the comprehensive plan and the city's land use regulations. It's important to keep in mind that under state law, failure to raise an issue at the local level means you can't file an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. It's called raise it or waive it. For the applicant, there's a separate requirement. If you object to any of the conditions of approval, you have to make sure you get that objection stated on the record in enough detail that people can respond to it, or you can't challenge that decision in circuit court, or that condition in circuit court. Mr. Chair, then, I'll return the hearing. Oh, have you already opened the hearing? Okay. Then do any of the commissioners have any bias, ex parte, or conflict of interest to declare?
My name is John Dews. I'm a retired architect, and I have not visited the site as a part of this application. I haven't had any ex parte contacts. Neither do I have any bias or financial conflict of interest.
Hi, my name is Meetal Salunke. I'm a landscape architect. I have not visited the site, nor have I had any ex parte communication with the parties. I do not know the parties involved, and I do not have a financial interest or conflict of interest or a bias to declare.
I am Helen Leake. I'm a realtor. I have no conflict of interest. I know where the site is, but I have not specifically visited it for this particular review. I have no bias. What else is there? I think that's it.
My name is Larry Lindstrom. I'm a construction executive. I have not visited the site. I have not had any ex parte communications. I do not know the parties involved. I do not have any financial or conflict of interest in this case, and I do not have a bias.
My name is Dwight Sangre. I'm a retired civil engineer. I am familiar with the site but have not visited it. I have no professional or financial relationship with any of the parties that are involved, and I have not had any ex parte relationship with anybody. I feel that I have no bias regarding this project.
I'm Kristen Bates. I'm a real estate attorney. I've not visited the site. I've had no ex parte contact with the parties. I do not have any bias, and I do not have any financial interests.
Does anyone wish to challenge any of those statements? Seeing no objections, I'll then return the hearing to the chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Crane. I'd like to request the staff's presentation. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Chair and members of the Commission. My name is Evan Franstead. I'm a senior planner and the project planner on this application. So the site is approximately 46,328 square feet in area and has frontage on Lakeview Boulevard, Bryant Road, and Lower Drive. It is a unified site consisting of 3 tax lots, and there are 2 existing multifamily buildings on site. The site is zoned R0, high-density residential. The abutting properties to the northeast and west are also zoned R0 and developed with multifamily residential. Properties to the north across Lower Drive are zoned R7.5 and developed with single-family residential dwellings. To the south across Lakeview Boulevard is Lamont Natural Area, Zone P and A. And West Bay Shopping Center is across Bryant Road to the east and is zoned neighborhood commercial. The applicant is requesting a development review permit for construction of an 8-unit multifamily building and a new parking lot with 10 parking spaces in the northeast area of the site. A new sidewalk will be installed along Lakeview Boulevard and Bryant Road frontages that connects the existing sidewalk. The building placement complies with maximum lot coverage and the 10-foot building setback from all lot lines. The proposal includes removal of 6 trees for development purposes, mainly for the construction of the sidewalk. The proposal complies with the tree removal standards. Here's the landscaping plan. The landscaping plan shows that the applicant proposes to plant 11 street trees in compliance with the street tree standard, and 5 trees to be planted as mitigation trees for the tree removal in compliance with the tree removal standards. A variety of trees and shrubs will be planted in the landscape areas. The unified site contains approximately 54% open space and landscaping set-asides, which exceeds the 40% minimum amount. And here's the building from the east elevation. This will be from Bryant Road. The building is 3 stories in height with an average height of 30.98 feet in compliance with the 40-foot average maximum height requirement. The floor area is 8,256 square feet. The proposal complies with the maximum floor area ratio of 1.2 to 1 and the minimum density of 21 units for the unified site altogether. This is the southwest perspective. This is a view from Lakeview Boulevard looking east. The building design standards require new development to integrate the remaining buildings into the overall design, which in this case are the 2 existing buildings, multifamily buildings on the site. Proposed building includes matching flat roof line, emphasis on corner windows, vertical line stacked windows, and horizontal wood siding to create an integrated design that is complementary to the design of the existing buildings remaining on site. The existing buildings will be painted to match the proposed building. The proposed building includes the same style of building elements as the existing buildings with tongue and groove cedar horizontal siding, black metal trim, and black fiberglass clad windows and doors. Mechanical equipment will be located on the rooftop and screened. In conclusion, staff finds proposal can be made to comply with all applicable criteria with recommended conditions. Staff recommends approval of LU 25-0025 with conditions. And I'd also like to note that we did not receive any public testimony in favor or in opposition or neutral for this application as of noon this afternoon. So I'd be happy to answer any questions at this time. Thank you.
Any questions?
Was this a site that a building burned years ago?
Yes.
How many units were in that building back in the day?
No, it's not part of the record. I'm not honestly sure. That was a number of years ago.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, maybe the applicant knows. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I believe it was
No,
not yet, sorry.
You could do it as part of your presentation. Yeah,
we can't pick up your voice on the microphone from there.
yeah. Just hold your answer.
Any more questions? Well, thank you very much, Evan. Well, now,
Yep. So just so everyone knows, the order of testimony is we'll hear first from the applicant, get your presentation, then anyone who wants to testify in support of the application, followed by anyone who might be opposed to it, and then anyone who might be neutral, and then we'll come back to the applicant for any final rebuttal you might have. After that, the commissioners we can ask questions throughout. Everybody gets 3 minutes? Anyway, sorry, individuals are allowed up to 5 minutes. Yeah, with the applicant getting 20 minutes for your presentation if you need that much. We'll track the time here. It'll be shown on the table there. And then we will, return to the commission. So, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Attorney Crane. I'd like to request the applicant's testimony. Again, noting they have up to 20 minutes, not including questions from the commission. I also want to note that the lights there on the table, as you make sure your microphone's on, but you'll have 3 different lights there. Yellow light yellow light is 30 seconds. Red light will be time up. A flashing red light means 30 seconds or over your time limit. Turn it over to you.
Thank you for having me. My name is Christian Lolich-Beyer. I'm the applicant for this project. Why don't I start by answering Helen's question? I think it was a fourplex that was there, and that is based on a wine bar conversation in Manzanita. So, but I do think that is what was there. Like 25 years ago or something, it burned down. I'm a small developer builder in the Portland metro area. I've been doing this for 23 years now. I bought this property about 1.5 years ago. I have deep roots in the Portland area. I'm an Oregon native. And I have roots in Lake Oswego too, not just because of this. My son went through the Lake Oswego School District. He's a senior at Ella High School, and I care about the community very much. My parents live in First Edition. My father is here in support of me tonight. That's very kind of him. Just would like everybody to know that I put my all into these projects, and I want to beautify the neighborhood. This particular property was very neglected. The previous owner really did nothing to it. Since I bought it, I've done a lot of dry rot repair. I've painted the building. I'll eventually be redoing the roofs. With this project, it will also substantially enhance the property. So I'm excited about it, and I hope other people are too. And I'd like to answer any questions that my neighbors have in West Bay condominiums. I think that mostly is who are here. So move on to that.
Well, thank you. Commissioners have any questions?
I can only say I've been waiting years for someone to do this, to take this. It's just a blight. I think what you're doing is a great addition, and we need the housing, so thank you.
No other questions? Yeah, well, I appreciate your testimony there. I guess we can now move on to those. Is there any other people speaking in favor? Nobody on the roster, so then I guess we can move into those in opposition. They'll be allowed up to 5 minutes. And then we will be on to those who are neither in favor nor opposed. So, thank you. I think, yeah, we can go ahead and take a seat, and then we'll bring up the opposition. So I'd like to invite up Mr. Hisham Bismar.
Do I need to do anything over here, or is it on?
You're good to go.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, my name is Hisham Bismar. I live at 4349 Lakeview, so just a couple houses from the area. I also own a condo at the Sunny Grove, which is right next to it. I'm not in opposition of development or multifamily units. I'm mainly in opposition of it because I feel it doesn't fit in the area. It's an imposing structure. This is a three-story building. I don't see any other three-story buildings in that area except for the condos north of it, or townhouses, I think. Those townhouses are set a little bit further from the street. This structure as is looks like it's very close to the street, 10 feet away from the street. The look of the structure is very modern. It does not fit necessarily in the area. The area is becoming very busy. We're proposing cutting some trees in there. There's the train track, there is traffic. All of these affect actually the amount of noise in the area. There's not even a continuous sidewalk next to the building. That sidewalk basically is disrupted between the intersection of Bryant Road and Lakeview Boulevard going further west. There is a gap of 20 to 30 feet of missing basically sidewalk. So I think priorities for the city or to enhance the living in the area would be probably to better like you said, the walkability in the area as opposed to putting large structure like that. Again, I'm not opposing the development per se, but as it currently stands, yes, I think it's just too imposing of a structure. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I think some of those questions, maybe the question I have is the traffic study. The traffic study that took place, can you fill in on any of that there, Evan?
Shall I vacate?
Sorry, is this a question for the witness or for staff?
For staff, excuse me.
Do we want to hold our question for staff to the end, or is it related to the testimony?
Oh, I guess we would wait until afterwards, okay.
I have a question. So you're against the modernistic look of this building. What is the flavor of the architecture in the area in your estimation?
The townhouses north of the property, that looks more of a fit with the houses, the general houses in the area. I know the other structure on the property is, yeah, it's more modernistic. It's from probably the 50s. It's a square. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That's just a personal opinion. My biggest objection is it is 3 stories high. It is very close to the road.
And that's a problem because visually?
Yes, it is imposing. I did have other concerns about, I do not believe that they're adding any more parking spots, but I guess that's none of my business.
You're not allowed to.
Correct.
He could have had no parking.
Yep, sure. Thanks.
No other questions? Okay, then we will move on to neithers. Adam Intel.
I have no comment.
Okay, thank you. And then Michael Arena. Please come up to the, please come up to the podium, and then,
I have a question to the developer. Is that okay? Stand up here.
I just note that
and please introduce yourself.
Sure. My name is Michael Arena. I'm Michael Scott Arena. I go by Scott. I am a resident at the West Bay condominium townhomes. We're to the north of the proposed apartment community. I lived there for 10 years. I'm actually adjacent to the buildings that are existing right now. My fiance and I, not really opposed to the look of it or the design in the sense of the aesthetics. Our biggest concern has been a view corridor. Looking from our deck, the direction that we look would be directly across the rooftops, we think, of the height of these structures, or it could actually impede any view that we have that takes out the tree line or towards the canal area down on the other side. So I'm a bit in agreement with the gentleman who was speaking before us. It's just, it would be imposing in that sense in the view corridor. The more that I think about it, I mean, it is a large box-like structure. I like the window design. I'm in property management and development myself, so I've worked with apartment communities, owners, and developers for the past 30-plus years, and I understand kind of the price of progress and what this involves and how you can't please everybody. But our greatest concern, I think, collectively has been on that side of the townhomes. There's a 9-unit, we're on the 5-unit side right in the middle, and as we look out of our deck, we're going to lose, I don't know to what degree until the structure is built, a certain amount of light that comes through that corridor now. Sunlight is sunlight depending on the time of day, but you know, we have been able to enjoy a nice sunrise look in that direction, and we would miss that. But I think that's really the greatest concern that we have. Other concerns would be noise, construction work, how long that's going to take, and I think that's a question for the developer, and I think that would be the question that I would ask is the decision-making behind the amount of the height for the building as well. That's really it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Now we'll offer the applicant a rebuttal if you'd like to make one. Yeah, 5 minutes.
Well, I appreciate you expressing your concerns. I would like you to know that the code actually would have allowed me to build a 50-foot building on this property. And when we originally modeled it, it was a higher structure than where it is now. So we've kept it under 30 feet. It's effectively the height of a residential house. So I tried to help in that way. So I have to build a 3-story building to make it work. I have to build a minimum of 8 units. That's what the property requires me to build a minimum of 8 units. So for the other gentleman is concerned about the walkability, I actually have to connect up the sidewalk on Lakeview. Yes, it's on the site plan. And then I have to extend the sidewalk on Bryant to the end of my property as well. And I understand that one of the engineers, when we were in a pre-application meeting, he said that the city may be extending that sidewalk all the way on up to Zupan's, which would be fantastic. So I hope that does happen. I don't know where you guys are on that, but I hope that happens. So just working within the parameters of the city code, that's all that I can really do. We've had a lot of iterations to meet their requirements, and this is where we are. And I'm trying to integrate the building. Code requires me to integrate the new building with the old buildings as best as possible. That's why we have the flat roofs. Went with cedar siding, which is what's on the other buildings. So where we are.
May I ask another, or do I have to wait?
I think you can, I believe you can speak, can he rebuttal?
No. Yeah, they'll have to, I mean, you can go back and start the testimony over again, or they can speak offline.
Okay, let's,
I can wait till offline.
Yeah.
Have to answer whatever questions you have.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That is it for public speakers.
Does anyone, under state law, we have to ask, does anyone want us to hold the record open for additional testimony or evidence? Or would you prefer that we proceed? Okay. Seeing no request there being no request to hold the record open, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. So then I will close the public hearing and direct the commissioners into deliberations.
I did just have a note that Lakeview, the improvement on the sidewalk project is slated for this year or next, so. Oh, the sidewalk project on Lakeview is part of the city, like sidewalk improvement, so I think it was slated for this year.
Where in Lakeview, which portion?
I was just looking for the part that kind of wraps up and around by Zupan, so, yeah.
Way cool.
Any other comments?
Well, I'll just echo what Commissioner Leeks had to say earlier, in the fact that having been on this commission now for a while, one of the issues that the city has been struggling with coming down from the state is our housing and the need for housing. And I understand that it's, the aesthetics may not be what everybody agrees to, but at least in terms of the application, again, height, setbacks, everything is in line with city ordinances and zoning. So I feel that this is just the type of project with bringing more housing into the city that we really need to have. So, thank you.
I concur. This is a slam dunk, and it's a good-looking building, I think, and it may not be everyone's aesthetic, but it's clean, it's modern. That's been a vacant, that whole intersection is a hodgepodge of architectural who knows what. So this, if nothing else, cleans it up a little bit, takes some of those horrible trees down, like that big leaf maple, which is nothing but an invasive species, and puts in some other nicer trees. I think it's a win-win for the city and for the developer and the neighborhood.
So is this an appropriate time to ask city staff, the senior planner, about the traffic study that was involved prior to?
Yes. What's your question?
Can you elaborate on the traffic study, if there was anything heightened or any irregularities or anything worth noting that can clarify any questions that the public had?
Yeah, I can try. So I'm not the traffic engineer. Will Farley is our traffic engineer. He's not here tonight. He's the one who reviewed the traffic study. But yeah, the applicant did submit a traffic study. Looking at it here, it says this, the units will add about 54 trips, daily trips to the system. They are adding 10 parking spaces. They are required to do the site improvements because of that. This all meets our standards. There was no red flag in the traffic study they submitted.
Thank you. Commissioner Leek made a good comment too about not requiring to add traffic within so many feet, or add parking when so many feet within a public transportation line. So that's something to keep in mind there, that that was actually doing something in kind to the neighborhood to provide those parking stalls.
Yeah, if I can just clarify, so this is discussed in the staff report, there's no minimum parking required anymore. So yeah, they're adding 10 parking spaces, new parking spaces, and that is of their own volition. They're doing it of their own because they want it for the development. But yeah, it's not a requirement.
Thank you. I have no other comments. Commissioners? Okay, so we'll close our deliberations. There's no new conditions noted.
Nope, everything in staff report is up to date.
Thank you. So I'll turn it back over to Attorney Crane. Or are we moving to vote?
If I'm reading the script correctly, it's, we're now at the point where the commission would make a decision.
I move that we approve LU 0025 as it stands with conditions put on by the planning department.
I would second that motion.
Thank you. City staff, call the roll, please.
Chair Lundstrom,
Aye.
Vice Chair Leek,
Aye.
Commissioner Dews,
Aye.
Commissioner Bates,
Aye.
Commissioner Salunke,
Aye.
Commissioner Sangri,
Aye.
6-0.
Mr. Chair, I just want to note for the record that under your code, that constitutes then a tentative decision to approve the application. And the final decision will be made then when staff comes back with the final findings at, I assume, your next meeting.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 6 will be schedule review and management update. Ms. Hasty, are you online?
Yes, can you hear me?
Absolutely, thank you.
Great, thank you. I appreciate everyone accommodating me. I am participating via Zoom, the family situation that I am working with, so hopefully nothing goes wrong. We will be coming back to adopt findings for LU 25-0025 on the 15th of December. We also have another public hearing that night. It's for a 11-lot subdivision. Evan Franstead will be your project planner on that one, and you'll receive the staff report and all exhibits 10 days prior. We also have another hearing on January 5th. That is a request for hearing on a type 2 tree removal for a new Renaissance home. And after that, we are tentatively scheduled to adopt findings for that tree hearing on January 19th. For other updates, Councilor Wendland did talk about the tree code update. I just wanted to quickly chime in on that and say that the tree code committee has drafted up conceptual plans and went through an initial discussion with the council, and then they're moving into drafting actual code amendments for the tree code. I'm not sure how long that process will take, but I know that that Community Development Director Jessica Numanolu would like to get this tree code adopted as soon as possible, since we are experiencing pressure from the state on having clear and objective standards for housing. Overall, as Councilor Wendland said, the push from the committee has been to encourage clear and objective standards for type 2 removal associated with housing only. There would be a clear and objective track. For the rest of the tree removal, it would be on the, I guess you would call it the discretionary track. So the council determined that they wanted the standards to be modified specifically for housing. And I will be happy to, or Commissioner Mino, who is representing the DRC on the committee, will be happy to give you updates when that comes. So unless you have any other questions, those are my updates for now.
Any questions? Thank you, Ms. Hasty.
Thank you.
I wish your family well in peace and fast healings.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, now we're moving on to item number 7. Before I adjourn, thank you, city staff. Appreciate your patience. Thank you, commissioners, for your time and your patience with me fumbling words. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks.